Okay, hi friends. So we are live again, and I would really apologize for this delay. There was some problem in the way we were connected. Okay, so the topic that we are having today is, are you stuck anywhere in life? Do you feel lost at times? Is there something which is pulling you back? Is there something which is um, actually stopping you from doing something that you would be doing today? Let's talk about it. Let's understand, let us discuss your problems, issues, anything that I can help with for you to go ahead. So we have a question here is, as well all know life keeps changing. Sometimes it's up and at times you go through rough phase. And at the end we know there are going to be, things are going to be okay, whether it's education, relationship. So my question is how to move on quickly. As for some people, after relationship ends, it takes a while, like a year or longer, to get over the person. Because of the time they have spent, the memories that they have. During that period, person loses focus of time. Okay, yes, so I guess that's something that most of us face sometime or the other in life, especially relationship related issues. Now, relationship is not only, a girlfriend and a boyfriend or a husband or a wife. It's even the relationship of the parents with the children. Many a times children move on, children move out of the house. They don't get along with the parents or they move out for their education. Sometimes it's friends, someone whom we really care for, and things happen because of which we have to part our ways, and it's not a very comfortable feeling. The question here is, how do we get ahead with it? How do we get ahead with it quickly? Well, I would say there is no magic answer to that. I would want you to understand that everything is related with our emotions, with our feelings. And when we are talking about emotions and feelings, they are going to take their own time to heal. And there is you cannot hasten the process of healing. Time is the best solution. But then the question is that, do we need to waste our life during that waiting period while we are waiting for the healing to happen? No, that is not necessary. As I often suggest, don't try to push away memories. Don't try to push away the feelings. Because if that is what you are doing, then most of the time you will be occupied with the thoughts, the very thoughts that you want to avoid. So the solution is, fill your life with other things. Do things that you really love to do. Add some hobbies to your life. Add some social activity to your life. Maybe go out of your way to help yourself, or increase the original work that you are doing. Anything that is going to keep you engaged. Doing some routine work like studies might get really, really difficult at such times, and I always suggest that find out ways to make studies also more active in the form that you can maybe involve a friend, like buddy studying. So two people studying together or three people studying together, and one person reads and the other people discuss on it, or one person asks the questions and the others try to answer it, so that your mind is kept focused on the activity which is happening here. If you try to study on your own, 7 minutes flat is the time when you can concentrate, and you already have so many other thoughts which are disturbing you. So try to get into active study pattern. If you don't have a friend to study with, maybe what I would always suggest is, just teach someone. Teach someone, teach something. You can keep a doll in front of you, you can keep anything, and just try to teach that person. Because when you're doing this, you're speaking aloud, and when you're speaking aloud, then you're not distracted by your own thoughts, at least not to the same extent. So if you're waiting for yourself to heal, it is better to fill up your life with the activities that you like to do, and concentrate on what is essential to do. Friends, I would want you to remember that life does not run sequentially. It's not like, let me go get over with this one thing and then I'll go ahead with the other thing. It's always runs parallelly. So when life is running parallelly, you need to learn to make compartments. So if I have to study, I have to study. And if I cannot concentrate on study because of some issues that I have had, then let me find out ways to study, because this time is not going to come back. And friends, if you have had a good relationship with someone and it's gone sour now, you can always stay with the old memories that you have had. If you stay with those old memories, there's nothing wrong with it. It forms a part of your life. You don't need to forget someone. You don't need to forget some things which have happened. They can be nice, lovely part of your memory, part of your memories. So if you look at it that way, perhaps you won't be so distressed about forgetting someone. So if we'll try to go ahead with another question. Okay, do we have more questions here? Friends, keep your questions coming. As we are trying to work on this particular issue, that we all get stuck sometime or the other in our life. So we are trying to understand that, when we are stuck, and it does happen, what do we do in some situations? So like I said, it can be for various reasons. Different things can happen in your life which can really make you feel stuck. One of the reasons, by the time we get your um, more questions with us, maybe we can try to discuss some other typical situations. So one of the typical situations that I would like to discuss with you is when you want to do something in your life, maybe like you want to change your career, for example, and you're not liking what you're doing, and it's difficult because of different reasons. So one might be that you are not very comfortable with getting out of your comfort zone, and other reason is a lot of people will try to tell you how not to do what you want to do. Keep this in mind, people. Maximum people are going to tell you that you should not be doing which you love to do, and they will tell you you should do what the rest of the world is doing. Well, I won't say that they are wrong. They are basically trying to protect your interests. They are basically speaking from their own place of insecurity, which tells us that why take risks. Do something what everyone is doing, so that we are all comfortable. There is a guaranteed results at the end of it. But friends, if it's making you unhappy, if it's making you feel really stuck, if it's making you feel uneasy every moment of your life, then please take it as a clue that it's time for you to move ahead. And it's okay to move ahead. It's okay to change. The first thing we have to start accepting is it's okay to change. It's okay to change a career. Now, typically in India especially, that we have a way of looking at things, that if you have taken up certain qualification, maybe a certain at class 10th or 12th, you made a decision and you went through a certain qualification, and then eventually you find out is that it's not matching with you. Well, this is the time when everyone will try to tell you, no, you are an engineer, so you have to work as an engineer. You're a doctor, so you have to work as a doctor. But if you are not happy, then what? Does that mean that just because you have studied something for a period of 4 to 6 years or 8 years, that means that you have to give you another 40, 60 or 80 years just being unhappy because of that one single decision? You don't have to be. Today is such a wonderful era that you can make a career out of anything that you want, anything that you love. You just have to know how. You might need some guidance in how to go ahead with what you really want to do. But that is okay. Asking for guidance is fantastic. But please don't ask guidance with some people who are permanently negative, who are always going to tell you, no, don't do this. This is not good. This is not right. This will not happen. You will end up in certain problems and certain issues. We don't need such people for advice. Go to someone who has actually achieved something in life, some people who have seen the world, who have moved around, and discuss with them. Trust me, they are going to motivate you, and they are going to guide you, and they are going to connect you to the right kind of people who can, maybe get you set on that path. So if you are stuck in your career, trust me, you need help, because you are either not able to overcome the resistance in your own mind, or you are afraid because of leaving. It would mean leaving your comfort zone, or you are maybe not very sure because other people keep on raising doubts about it. That means these are the indications that you are really stuck at a certain point. I think you should consult a career guide, because there are not many who would help you to change. Midlife career changes are very, very common these days. So under the guidance of some life coach, especially, the life coach will work with you throughout your change process. So like if I have a client with me who's wanting to change the career or develop a new career, I work with them for a minimum of 3 months. So right from planning and right from deciding, and then the motivation which is needed, and then the steps which are to be followed, and then tackling the issues which come up and dealing with them together. We just work with it together till the time the person is not very comfortable to take it up on his own or on his own, or on her own. So you need to work with someone, a life coach or a counselor, or maybe someone whom who is really dynamic in that sense and can guide you. You can be stuck, friends. It's okay. Once you decide a life pattern does not mean that it will work for you for the rest of your life. Feel okay to change. Give a thorough chance to whatever you have in your hand, but if it's still not working out, it's okay to change. Have that comfort level and go ahead. There are people to help you around. So let's see what else, what other questions are coming our way. Okay. What do we do when things are beyond our control and you have to regret in the end? Okay, things are beyond our control. I would like to give it a question mark there, because as I have seen life, there are very few things which are actually not in our control. So every time we say that things are not in my control, perhaps we are not ready to take a certain responsibility. Because I have experienced life being a woman and trying to make a career on my own, most of the time not supported by anyone, because it was new things that I keep on trying. And I know that there is things might appear difficult, that can happen, but it doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. It's just that I need to look beyond. I need to find out. Maybe sometimes I need to take help from someone, but I really don't believe in these things, that when things are beyond your control. Yes, certain situations, maybe for example parents might feel that I feel that my child is doing something like maybe got into smoking or drinking or drugs or behavioral issues and not responding to anything, and you really feel frustrated because you feel I can't do anything. This can happen with a spouse. This can happen with anything that you feel that you're seeing something wrong happening in the organization. You feel you know the answer to it, but no one is bothered about asking you a solution, and you feel frustrated. You feel that it's beyond me. Such situations can arise, and I feel these are the perfect opportunities for us to work on ourselves, because when things are going good, we hardly look inside. It's these times, the challenging times, which tell us that do something, and that something is perhaps starts with an internal thing, because right now you cannot do anything external. You have tried to explain it to your son as many number of times. You've taken him to a counselor. You have done everything possible, and he or she doesn't want to change at all. What do you do in such situation? Work on yourself. Trust me. Work on yourself. This is the time when you have to learn to let go. When we are holding too tight, that's when we believe that I am responsible for everything that happens to my child in this life, and I am responsible for making him happy. But that's the biggest myth. Friends, children come to our house because the souls need to be born through someone. Our responsibility is to take care, to protect them till the time they are not able to protect them. But once they are in that adulthood, once they start thinking, once they start applying their brains, and they start resisting to whatever you're trying to do, your job is left with giving your suggestions and stepping back. Give your suggestion and stepping back. So that's applicable to you as a parent. That's applicable to you as a friend, as a spouse. That's even as a worker in an organization. If the people are not responding, learn to step back and see. That is what is the most essential thing for all of us to do, and that will lead to your internal peace. And what I have experienced is when I worked on this internal peace, and that I could go beyond feeling that fear, what will happen to my daughters and all those things. I realized that they started responding to me better, because now I am not the panicky type of a person. So they respond, they talk to me now, they discuss. They may not always listen to what I'm saying, but they always get back to me. So just analyze this situation first, whatever you feel that maybe it's not in my control. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead with some other question. Very difficult nowadays. It is very difficult for children at any age of 16 to 18 to decide what's good for your career, what course to choose, and what decision should be taken, and hence they are stressed. Change of career is okay, but how does someone decide at this age? Also, it is important for them to know that it is hard work that really matters. No matter what they choose. Yes, you are perfectly right, Swati. Hard work is absolutely essential. I believe that especially in this generation, if we can help the children choose something that will interest them, then they would be more open to accepting the idea of putting in the hard work. Because when we were growing up, putting hard work was easy because we were afraid of our parents and we were afraid of the authorities. So that used to be one of the major motivation, that fear. Unfortunately or fortunately, this generation majorly does not live with that fear, so they have to be internally motivated to put their hard works, and for that thing, it is important to guide them towards something that they would love to do. And at this stage, that is why I suggest to everyone that please get a career aptitude test done with a very established career counselor. Please, friends, established career counselor, because career counseling is not only about conducting a test, but someone who is experienced enough to interpret it, and not just the test, interpret the test in relation to your child in particular, to your surroundings, to the environment in which the child is growing up. So someone who's senior and who's experienced enough to understand the child. So the aptitude test, along with the personality analysis of the child and the experience of the counselor and whatever input you give to the counselor, all these things put together can give really good career opportunities for the children. I'll give you one small example of how aptitude test works. So it is considered, that someone who's good at maths and science should take up engineering, because that seems to be the way out. But trust me, engineering is not just about maths and science. It's a basically technical subject. It's very, very technical. So many students who are good at studies in the school days are not able to cope up with the engineering course beyond the first year, because that's when the maths and physics part ends and the actual technicalities enter. And many of them are not able to cope up, and they are not interested, because being technical is something which doesn't come to everyone. I'll give you a simpler example. So in a household, if there are 4 children, not all of them will be fiddling around with the electric socket, or trying to break open a toy and see what's inside it, because this child has got a technical bend of mind. Someone who's more interested in painting or drawing, or watching the mother cook, he's perhaps a more creative person. So he might be sincere with studies and doing good with maths and science, doesn't mean that he's going to do engineering, is fit for engineering. So that kind of an analysis the parents have to understand if you really want to guide our children towards the career of their choice. And taking the help of a counselor, the best time is to take this test is to do it immediately after the 10th boards are over, not waiting for the results. Because as soon as the 10th boards are over, there's going to be a hue and cry in the entire city by the tuition classes telling you that we have got only 3 seats left, we have only 4 seats left, so take admission. And then that's when, under pressure, parents send their children to different classes where they are perhaps not suitable at all. So immediately after 10th board, catch hold of a good career counselor. If you are in Nagpur, you are most welcome to my center. If not, I conduct these sessions even online. If you are interested to do it with me, you can always write to me and we can do it. But you can find a career counselor in your city also, whomsoever you trust. But get it done so that you give your child fair chance of taking something in his life that he or she really loves. And with that, let's see what more questions do we have. Okay. Okay, so Deepika here asks, my daughter can't focus on her studies. She always tells me she wants to do more with her time. She can't seem to accept the fact that studies are important. She has this mindset that she wants to make her life out of her talents. Deepika, I can really understand that, because that's what I was talking about right now. This generation is looking at different things altogether. Another thing is that they don't have enough patience. They want to do it today. They don't realize it that after graduation also they can do certain things. But we can help her here certainly. 2-3 things which I would like to tell you. You have not mentioned which class she is in, but get a good career counselor. Even if she's crossed 8th standard and she's really as uneasy as that, it's okay to get an aptitude test for her at this stage, so that both of you have a clarity of what you are looking forward to. And a counselor explaining to her that, okay, this is the career of your choice, your talent-based career which you can do, but this is the path. So that path a counselor would properly tell you a path that will give her a good degree and make her employable in a good way while she is also taking care of or working with her talent. So if that kind of an option is found out for her, she might, understand that, okay, this is the way I have to go, even if I have to make career with dance or anything else. As far as her focus in studies is concerned, nowadays many students are having this problem. Now what happens is these children do have attention issues because they have too many distractions. So when they sit alone, they have too many thoughts going on in their mind to study. And these children, when they go for a common tuition classes where there are say 50 students or 70 students, it's very easy for them to zone out and think of something else and get distracted. At the end of it, they're not getting anything at all. So I always suggest that in that case, get them home tutors. If your child is distracted, that means he's not a very competition oriented child. Get your children home tutors, private personal home tutor who will sit and get the things done with them. That way they want to do it. Trust me, no child wants to fail, no child wants to score less, but sitting and study is not coming easily to this generation children. So instead of complaining about it, why not give them an environment in which they can actually grow? So I have been doing this, and I had my children on home tutors for about 4 to 5 years, and they responded very, very well. Another advantage of having home tutors is that they would study and I could see them studying. And whatever I felt, I would communicate directly to the tutor that, okay, I think she should be doing more writing practice, or I think she's lacking in the confidence, so maybe you can give her more test papers or things like that, or maybe she needs more learning, so get learning done from her. Now, when I was interacting with the tutors directly, I did not have to tell my daughters again and again, please study, study, study. And when that stopped, our relationship improved, and those studies were going on regularly, properly. We would have 2 or 3 tutors coming in to get all the things done, and the rest of the time then we could have fun and lot of good time together. Because if your child is approaching say 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, the child is going to be leaving your house soon. So understand that the emotional bonding with parent is also very, very important. When the child is not able to focus on studies, the parents are so stressed about studies then that unknowingly the relationship between the child and the parent is spoiled, and eventually I've seen that the child has got only one aim: I want to get out of this house, I want to go and study in the hostel, though they don't even understand what it's going to mean to them. So both the things can be achieved if you can have a personal tutor coming in. Talk to the tutor, guide the tutor how to do it, and establish good relationship with your children. Talk to them about what is really important. I think, Deepika, that should help your child. And then we are coming up with the next, how much time do we have left with us? Okay, we do have some time. So the next question is, how can get help by DMIT test for children? Is it useful for determining children interest? Okay, this question is asked by Manish Dubey, and Manish ji, it is interest is something which is very, I would say, very subjective. So it is it's very difficult for anyone to say that this particular test would tell us what the interest of the child is. Interest is something which is developed by looking at certain things. Now, the child has not experienced it, so he or she may not know that this is what I am interested in. So I would really have a question mark on your interest in finding the interest of the child. I would say focus more on aptitude testing. DMIT is something which I personally do not recommend, but certainly I do not have anything against it. I would suggest a full proper DAT, that is differential aptitude test, which is going to check your child on every small aspect, conducted by an experienced counselor who can read your child and read you and read the environment, and then correlate the test results. And this is what would be my suggestion to you. So I would not really like to make any comments about particularly DMIT, but I would certainly say, rather than interest test, try to see if you can get your child into get an aptitude test for your child. Okay, so now we might have time for maybe 2 more questions. Okay. Children, teenagers lost in electronic games, lack of social circle, how to bring them out and back in the real world. This is Mohana's question. Mohana, this is, I think you speak for most of the parents today. Children respond to live, uh, live people. Children respond to live people. Unfortunately, what is seen today is if we say that children are too much into electronic games, my question is who has provided them so many electronic games? At what age? If they are too addicted, why are we not able to take those things back from them? So rather than addressing them, I always like to address the parents on this issue. That, if you think that your child is all the time glued to the TV, is it not wise to remove the TV from your house? And okay, I'm not against entertainment. Parents often jump to that saying that, no, children also need entertainment and relaxation. I agree with that. But if they are not learning discipline of life, and, I've seen children keep on watching television, they will just shift from one channel to another. If that is happening and they are not ready to respond to your logic that maybe they should watch one or two programs, why don't we remove the television from our home altogether? Now, if you take a step like removing the television, that means you will have to be available for them to spend time with them. So the question is again back to you. Are you ready to spend time with them? They will resist, certainly. But if you bring something interesting to them, rather than all the time telling them, why don't you go out? Why don't you go out? Why don't you go out? Instead of that, why not let's do this? Let's try to do this. So, okay, so that's something which I had done. I had removed the TV from my house, and they would fight back with me sometimes, saying that everyone has a television. But then, I developed this system that we would go out and watch most of the movies which were released. And that was their entertainment. But trust me, when you go out to watch a movie in a theater, it's like, it's us time. So you spend time together, you laugh together, and you're not stuck to a video game in one corner of a room or a phone in one corner of a room. So, it's your active involvement. Now, if it's younger children, trust me, I go to watch all the animated movies, and they're lovely, beautiful animated movies. But I feel pained that the theaters, 90% of the time, are empty. It's only people like me who are sitting there, and hardly any children. And then if there is a movie which the parents want to watch, it might be something as explosive as maybe dirty pictures, or something that you would really not like your children to see at that age. But if the parents want to see, I see that the theater is full, and small children screaming here and there at the end of it. So the question is, the ball is back into the parents' court, that are you doing this for yourself or your children? If you want them to do something else, you will have to do it with them. It's not going to happen automatically. So instead of telling them to go and play outside, get a board game, get a Ludo and sit with them. Get a snakes and ladder and sit with them. You will need to develop your patience. You will need to work on your patience for that. And so the question is, are you willing to? And if you're not willing to, let them be engaged in whatever they are engaged in. At least they are engaged in something. So it's all a question with the parents, that how much time are you willing to spend with your child? Please don't give me the excuse that I'm very busy, because I've seen busy people spending time with their children because they want to spend time with their children. So when we don't spend time with our children, that's because we find other things more interesting. I'll just give you a quick small example. I have often had, when my children were growing up, I had often had many parents with similar age children telling me that, Sapna, I've heard that you go to watch these animated movies. Next time you go, why don't you take my child? It's so boring. I don't want to go for them. That's the thing. So you don't want to do the things that the children like. And so that's why we are providing with them with everything else. Do whatever you want to do. Don't disturb me. And if it's really that you are ready to give time, then remove everything. You don't need to give. If they need a phone, it doesn't have to be a smartphone till a certain age. If they need entertainment, it doesn't have to be a television all the time. There can be so many different types of. So what are you ready to take up? You decide how are you ready to take this up, and you can easily may bring about a change in your life. Just to give you a recap on that, since I removed the television, my daughter became an avid reader, and she reads and reads and reads. She can finish one full novel in the night. That's because she didn't have an idiot box to stare at. Okay, before going ahead, ओके, देयर इज वन सजेशन, सपना जी अगर आप हिंदी में प्रोग्राम करेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा होगा, लोग आपसे ज्यादा जुड़ेंगे. सूरज जी हिंदी में भी करेंगे हम. मुझे दोनों तरह के लोगों का मैसेजेस आते हैं, कुछ लोग इंग्लिश में चाहते हैं, कुछ लोग हिंदी में चाहते हैं. मेरे वीडियोस है यूट्यूब पर जिसमें काफी सारे यूट्यूब वीडियोस जो है वो हिंदी में ही है केवल, और काफी सारे जो है वो इंग्लिश में है, तो मैं बैलेंस करते रहती हूँ. कुछ समय में हम हिंदी में भी जरूर प्रोग्राम करेंगे. Okay, so more questions. My son is in class 6. He doesn't want to write. He's brilliant in maths and computer, but no interest in languages, Hindi and English. It can be okay till class 6, but how will he cope up in higher classes? Okay, and he is in boarding. How can I make that habit develop in him? Okay, so it's okay. How can children be interested in all the 10 subjects? So it's okay, you know. You have to decide what is your target for him learning this. If your target is that he should be scoring very high in every subject, well, I think that it's time for you to think. If he's passing every year, it's okay. 90% of the time he's not going to make a career in Hindi. He's going to make a career in something else. So why do children have to be good and scoring very high in every subject? But yes, like you said, basic minimum is essential for learning sake also, and for the sake of passing the examinations in our system also. He would need special assistance for the subjects. You will have to talk to the people at the boarding how they can provide special assistance so that he can pass through those subjects. Don't make a hue and cry if your child is good in maths and science and not very good at languages. Just talk to him that if you fail in languages, your maths and science is of no use because you have to clear these examinations. Put that in his head, and I'm sure that he will do. Provide him help if he's not able to cope up on his own at all. One last question I think we can just take up. How do you deal with teenage depression? One thing is that, is it really depression? Please, friends, think about it. The depression word is very overused and misused is what I would say. Is it really depression? Sadness is fine. There is no problem with sadness. The problem is children today are not able to get along with people so easily. So they don't have many friends. And another problem is that they are used to material satisfaction of their desires. So if they are feeling boring, what they want is someone should fill up that time with excitement. Like they should be going to a party, or they should be, laughing with their friends. If it's not that, then they go into depression. So this is a pattern which I am observing among the teenagers. If there is actual real clinical depression, then you need to be handling this with medicines if needed, which I'm not very much in favor of unless it's really seriously needed, and counseling from a good counselor. But otherwise, see a pattern. If the child is happy partying and everything and the rest of the time complaining of depression, it's really not depression. Is there something wrong with his lifestyle? And perhaps the child doesn't have any aim at all. If there is an aim of any kind, it might be a sports, it might be a dance, to do something good in dance, or it might be in studies, it might be in anything. But if the child doesn't have an aim, he will often complain of depression. So you have to talk to the children and explain to them that depression is a very, very serious illness. Let us understand that what is your problem at this stage and can we solve it. And if you are not able to have this dialogue with the child, which I can understand, please seek a good counselor where your child can speak heart to heart, and then you'll be able to help your child. Okay, so friend, our time is over for today. What I would do is I would reply to the other questions which are still there and I have not been able to answer. I would reply to them by writing my replies there. So I don't feel bad about that. We do have time restrictions. Before I go, I would seek your best wishes and your blessings, because this book of mine, For the Love of Me, is going to be launched in Delhi tomorrow. I'll just give you a quick understanding of what this book is about. So this book is about all the things that we talked just now. It's about it's in a story form so that it's easier for you to read. So it's about the story of this woman who is going through her life and feeling stuck. There are problems and there are issues, and she's feeling that there's nothing can happen, and she's everything is out of her control. And that's after that how seeking help from someone, and she goes into understanding herself, then slowly making the changes which are required, and while going through the changes what she goes through, how she feels, and slowly how she's able to come out of life, come out of all this, and towards a very very positive life. I'm not saying all problems are solved. I'm saying a positive and happy life for herself when she's looking forward to even dealing with her problems. So that's this book of mine, For the Love of Me. And incidentally, I'm also the publisher. I have this publishing house called as Soul Books, which we have launched recently. Uh, I also publish books for book release function also, and once the book release function is done, I would like to share with you what happened, and what were the feedback of people about that book. And I would want you to also give your feedback if you're interested in reading the books. It would immediately after the launch, it would be available on Amazon, so you can order from anywhere that you wish to. And if there is any problem in ordering, please write to me. I'll suggest you how you can get to it. But whether you buy the book or not, do keep your best wishes coming, because that is what I need. I have one small suggestion for those who have not followed my page. I would suggest that if you follow my page, you will get all the updates that I keep on putting. And do tell your friends if you think this has been useful to you. Do keep on telling your friends so that we can have more and more questions and more people for our further live sessions. So thank you very much. Good night, and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.